I feel like the Fed is Best book is the most comprehensive book on how to do infant feeding that I have ever read. And I think it's got a lot of great science behind it and just really a non-judgmental approach, which is fantastic because, again, this is not a one-size-fit-all sort of thing. It is what fits your family best. This is information that all new families should have and should read, and it's definitely something I'm going to be like, do you know about this book? Would you like to read this book? Let me give you this book because it's so wonderful. And yeah, all the resources that you have in there, it is so comprehensive. And it actually gets right down to all the important stuff that you need to know. I mean, I've definitely read and listened to a bunch of different parenting books and other things that it's like a bunch of fluff in there. This is not a whole lot of fluff. This is like really great information from cover to cover. So I'm so glad that you guys wrote this book. I'm so glad that you started this foundation. I feel like hopefully this will swing the narrative to something that's a little bit more reasonable. And so parents can go back to just enjoying their babies and not feeling like they have somehow failed.
So, for one, the book is so fabulous. I was very committed to breastfeeding, was not provided with much information about how to know if your baby's getting enough. I had The Womanly Art of Breastfeeding.
So did I.
Yeah, not a good book. Being at home with my newborn that was either screaming or sleeping had to be attached to my boob at all times. I remember thinking there has to be something in this book about what I'm supposed to be doing, and it just kept saying, feed the baby, feed the baby. The next day, they sent us in for a bilirubin. Their bilirubin was 21. They were admitted having lost 20% of their birth weight. I thought I had completely failed as a parent. I remember trusting this breastfeeding book to tell me what I needed to do to feed my child, for my child to be healthy, how to be a good mom, and it absolutely did not have that information. So when I read this book and then saw not only is it a brilliant analysis of the history of infant feeding, like, oh my gosh, Christy, you should be so proud. The medical knowledge that I think every parent needs to know about how feeding can go well and about how feeding can go catastrophically bad. But then the practical information that's inclusive. I have never read the words combo feeding in a parenting book. I have never seen a parenting book say the words formula is a safe feeding choice. But then going on to honor the choice, to honor individual families deciding what works for them, it's so meaningful. I can't tell you how important this is to read.
I think that is Best book and podcast series should be part of every labor and delivery class. It should be in every breastfeeding 101 class. Okay, there should be a plan if breastfeeding doesn't go immediately perfectly right off the get-go. What's the next step? Because I had no next step. It was breastfeeding at the breast. Do not bring your pump supplies to the hospital. Do not bring any formula. Do not bring any donor milk. Do not do those things. Absolutely has to change, because that was the message in Breastfeeding 101 class that I attended with my husband, right, and partner, right, during our hospital tour. That needs to change. There needs to be, this is fed as best. This is what happens when it doesn't go perfectly. You must be educated. You need to know what to do. You need to have a plan in place.
So what I love about the book is that it doesn't discredit breastfeeding at all. It's not saying only formula. It's just giving out facts for moms to make their choice. Just do what you think is best. And that's why I love this book so much. At the end of the day, it's your journey. You're in your baby's journey. Whether formula, whether breast, as long as they are thriving, I think that's what should be the most important thing. We read everywhere that breast is best. And that message can be very harmful mentally for the mom and physically for the baby. Some moms are not able to breastfeed, and it's not something new. Then I found you guys, Fed is Best, and honestly saved me. It saved my babies, my mental health. I felt more knowledgeable, more supported. That's all it mattered. Thank you so much for this book. I think it's going to help many moms, so many babies in their journey of growing and thriving, which is really the whole purpose of this.